if you cash out your 401k, you're going to be in for a load of trouble come tax time.
You don't have enough cash to pay the bill.
In today's video, we're going to talk about what to do with your 401k when you retire. Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Alec Sunners. I'm joined by my colleague here, Roger Barrett. And today we're going to talk about what to do with your 401k when you retire.
Or what not to do, Alec.
I think the big thing is you want to avoid mistakes. And one of the biggest fatal errors you can make is just straight up cashing out your 401k when you retire.
It's surprising the number of folks who do it.
Yeah.
They cash out and pay this huge tax bill.
And I think people think, oh, it gives me more flexibility. Now I have the money in my own pocket in my bank that I can do whatever with. And it is a huge mistake. You lose a ton of tax advantages by doing so.
The Congress appreciates it, Alec.
Yeah, Uncle Sam sure does. So I think another big mistake is someone that retires when they're 55 and then they roll their 401k to their IRA. The big mistake with that is now that it's in an IRA, you would have to pay a 10% penalty for anything you take out. Versus in the 401k, if you retire after 55, you can take out penalty-free distributions. In IRA, you have to wait until 59 and a half to take any distributions without a penalty.
So a 10% penalty, not as much tax as you would pay if you liquidated the entire 401k.
Right.
But nonetheless, a tax that you can avoid.
Right. And I think just the other big mistake people make is just keeping multiple employer plans from previous employers and then end up having 7 401ks.
Right.
It's just so much easier if you consolidate things into one account so you're not going to a bunch of different places to manage your money. It's all consolidated in one easy place.
I frequently liken managing 7 401ks to herding cats.
Yeah.
And you'll be about as successful. But let's address the pros, that is, the advantages of leaving your money in your 401k. You have the ability to do that. So if you leave your money in your 401k, you have better creditor protection. Not foolproof, but better than if you rolled to your IRA. Secondly, if you continue to work and your money is in a 401k and you're of RMD age, you can avoid taking required minimum distributions. Whereas if you roll the money out to the IRA, you would need to begin to take required minimum distributions, which today occurs at the old age of 73. And I can say that because I'm 68. You can also, if you retire, leaving the job after 55, if you leave the money in the 401k, you can take penalty-free withdrawals, which is something that some folks might want to do. So you can avoid, if you will, taking the 10% penalty. And lastly, and not insignificant, is your familiarity with the 401k. If you're familiar with the login procedures, if you go to if you go to the website and you know your password and you're comfortable with the investments, then okay, that's an advantage of leaving the money in the 401k. Alec.
So I think a lot of people might be nodding their head saying, yeah, this all sounds great. So what about the flip side? What are the cons of leaving it in your 401k? And I think one of the big ones is there's a limited amount of investment options within that 401k. I'm not going to name names, but some employer plans, some custodians have better options than others. But for all of them, there is going to be a limited set of options that you can take when you invest the money within your 401k. Also with the 401k is there is a lack of flexibility with the withdrawals. With an IRA, at any point in time, you can go and take a distribution from the IRA. The 401k, the employer plan might limit when and how much and how often you can take those distributions from the plan. Also, 401ks, there is a lack of consolidation available. So if you have been contributing to your 401k through your entire career, but you've also been doing a Roth IRA as well now what? You have a Roth IRA at one custodian, a 401k at another custodian. It's easier if everything can be at the same custodian. You get more flexibility when it's not in the 401k. Also, the 401k, the employer can change that plan at any point in time. They could change who manages it, what the investment options are, and what the fees are for the plan. That can be very tricky for someone that's not typically on top of what's happening within that 401k.
So they can switch it to a custodian you're not familiar with.
Right.
Right?
Right, and you lose that pro of being familiar with the plan.
Right.
And it also can lead to communication issues. They're not always the best at communicating with non-plan participants once you're retired.
Or non-employees. I mean, I get it. If I'm in a plan, but I'm no longer an employee, I'm like a person without portfolio. It's
Right.
yeah, you're kind of out there. All right, so let's think about the pros of rolling into an IRA. And the first one is huge. You have an enormous number of investment options. Matter of fact, I would almost observe you have too many. Whereas in the 401k, you probably have 20, 25. If you roll your money into an IRA, they're unlimited. It is also easier to consolidate. It's easier to consolidate a bunch of plans or a bunch of IRAs into one IRA. Their fees could be lower in an IRA. They could also be lower in a 401k. So what I would observe to you all is you need to keep an eye on fees. Fees are a pitfall. You could have higher fees or lower fees in an IRA. It's something that needs to be managed. Keep in mind that fees erode your ultimate rate of return. And you could also access professional management. Let's say you wanted to consolidate your 401ks and your IRA into one large IRA and then get somebody like our firm to manage the IRA for you. You really can't do that in a 401k. You can do that in an IRA.
Right, right. And I think a lot of people, when they retire, they do want to be hands off, and they want to say, hey, I'm going to turn this money over to someone I trust so that they can professionally manage it better than I would be able to do all myself. So what about the cons? Why should you not roll your 401k into an IRA? And certain states have less creditor protection than others, that the 401k would offer generally better, stronger creditor protection. Some states offer strong creditor protection just like the 401k, but that's going to vary state by state. Also, there is more just personal responsibility. Within a 401k, you have a fiduciary managing the plan, making sure the investment options are appropriate. Like Roger said earlier, the IRA has a wide range of investment options that you have to do your own due diligence on to make sure that you are investing in something appropriate for yourself. Also, with an IRA, there are no loans within an IRA. So if you took out a loan of your 401k and then you go to roll it over, you would actually have to default on that loan when you rolled it to the IRA. You can't just transfer that loan from the 401k to the IRA. Also, the rollover process can be pretty complicated with some 401ks to IRA rollovers. Some are pretty simple, some can be complicated and might need some hand-holding to walk you through all the different steps and forms and different things that the custodian needs to accomplish that.
So Alec, bottom line. Let's go bottom line.
Right.
So first of all, I think the big mistake is cashing out.
Right.
Number one. And a pitfall. There are several pitfalls. First of all, fees. Fees could be lower or higher in 401k. Likewise, lower or higher in IRA. You might be comfortable choosing from thousands of investment options, and yet you might not be comfortable.
Right.
And if you're an obstetrician delivering babies and liability is a problem, then consider consolidating in a 401k, because the 401k has federal creditor protection, and the IRA depends on state laws governing liability protection.
Right. And I think bottom line is there is no answer we can give someone that is a one-size-fit-all. We can't just make a blanket statement of, yes, you should do X, or oh, no, you should do Y. I think the situation, like you've mentioned with all those different reasons, it's going to vary. And there is no right answer for a group of people. I think a majority of people automatically will just assume rolling to an IRA is the best option. And for a lot of people it is, but you always have to think through all of the pros and cons of each approach.
Definitely, I would consolidate if you don't want to have, as you said, 7, 5, who knows the number, 401ks out there. So if you want to leave your money in a 401k for whatever reason, maybe consolidate down to one. And certainly that would allow you to more easily manage the money in retirement going forward.
Right. And if you have more questions about, hey, what should I do? You can always reach out to us. And if you're already a client, you can reach out to your primary advisor and they can walk you through what the best option is for you. If you're not already a client and you are saying, hey, I need some answers on this, we're going to put a QR code up on the screen here that you can scan the QR code and schedule a free 30-minute intro call with us where we'll talk through this video, as well as who we are, what we do, and how we can best serve you. I appreciate everyone watching, and I hope everyone has a happy new year.